So, for those of you who have been following along, a couple months back, SomeGuy's Garage sent me this here MasterCraft drill-operated impact adapter that you would put on a drill, oddly enough, and for the most part turning it into a half-inch impact. And what I did was I went out to my truck, set the lugs to different torques, and yeah, we got all the way up to 375 before my old drills wouldn't do the job anymore. Torque Test channel saw that video and felt bad for me. So they sent me two new drills because my old brush drills were kind of sad and beat up. And yeah, so they sent me out two new drills to try out. I'm into it. I'm pretty sure in subcultures this means we're dating to some degree. So yeah, we have the old well, let's look at the old brushless ones, or brushed ones I should say. We have a DCD998 brushed drill from DeWalt. Again, probably 10 years old. And we have a DCD771 half-inch, again, drill. And yeah, this one, again, probably a good 10 years old. Yeah, so what they sent me was a DCD998 brushless drill, fairly modern as far as they go, and the smaller DCD805 drill. Again, a fairly modern or recent version of these drills. So what I want to do after we're all said and done here is try these guys out on the old lugs there and see if we could pop them loose. But before we do that, let's set the camera, take a look down, and compare new hotness to old and busted. See how that goes. So let's start off with the smaller of the group, and that would be the DCF or DCD 771, the DCD 805. Right off the hop, the most obvious thing is a length difference, and that's just the nature of a brushless motor. You can get more power out of a brushless motor in a smaller package compared to a DC motor. The chuck would be another improvement, I would think, over the years. This has a plastic no-name chuck, and this one's got a nice metal chuck with some nice knurling going on there. It just kind of feels better all around. This particular one is actually a hammer drill, just like the other one, whereas to this one's just a drill / driver. And turning the little adjuster here, it feels plasticky and cheap. And turning this guy, kind of got a nice, more solid detent as far as going through the torque ranges. And yeah, in the hand, a little bit thicker grip on the newer one. I kind of like that. I got bigger hands. The actual texture of the rubberized over mold is nicer than the older one. The older one's kind of, might be just because it's old and worn out. As far as controls go, this, you hit the button, the little LED comes on. High speed, low speed. High speed, low speed. The detent on the new one, it's got a lot nicer clicking action, I have to say. And you could actually go from no LED down in that area down there to dim LED to a bright LED. I'm thinking that's the way that works there. And yeah, all in all, this does have that problem that plagues a lot of DeWalt tools as far as directional selector goes. How well we could see this down here, but let me give a little tracking there. And yeah, you can see going from forward to reverse, that direction, which is reverse, it's kind of smushy, going from locked to reverse, whereas this one sticks out more. And I've seen this a few times in different DeWalt tools, and just kind of seems like that is the nature of the beast. But let's see if there's a weight difference. Let's put it on grams. There we go. The old one, 1,292 grams, and the new one, or new style one, I guess I should say, if I can get it on there without it, 1,377. So you get a little bit more weight, which is kind of understandable because it's got more metal in the chuck. Now, getting into the bigger ones. This would be the DCD998, and this would be the DCD980. And again, brushed versus brushless. The little handle here, they give you a little bit longer one, I guess, so people don't smack themselves in the face with the battery. One little tip, I'm going to take these off just to get them out of the way. One little tip when you're using any drill with a lot of torque like this, it's a good idea to keep your face clear of this end of it. I've personally given myself a shiner with one of these, and I saw a guy knock a couple of teeth out. So yeah, keep that in mind. Now, again, side by side, the brushless one, again, for reasons we discussed, has a little bit of a size advantage as far as depth or length goes. Let's weigh them up real quick. All right, we're still in grams. New guy, 1,539 grams. Old guy, 1,672 grams, which kind of makes sense. You can lighten things up when it comes to brushless motors. Without looking at them side by side, I believe they are still using the same chuck as they used to, it looks like, and the stamping on the side is pretty much the same. They kind of, probably should have did this off camera. Yeah, the locking mechanism feels the same. My guess is that they're the same chuck. This one has a spinner on the end of it. This one has a spinner as well. The spinner's nice. I don't know if that's what this is for, but you got something you're kind of trying to line up kind of precisely, let you hold on to the end of it, kind of support your hand and run an indie. Smaller ones, it doesn't spin, but it's smooth, so you can still kind of achieve the same thing there. Now, as far as controls go, the old guy, same deal. Pull the trigger, light comes on. No real controls as far as that goes. Forward, reverse, everything feels kind of nice with that. You got your screw setting right there, so you can set your torque. Nice chunky detents on the torque there. And then you got drill mode, so it just locks the clutch, so it'll continuously drill until something breaks. And it's also got 3-speed control, just like the new one. It's got it's about the same. I was going to say this kind of felt like it was more definite as far as the locking goes, but yeah, basically feels the same. This particular one, again, you have the option to take your LED off and then set it so it's got a 20-minute, is that what it says? Yeah, I guess you can leave it on for 20 minutes for whatever reason, and then off, and then, yeah, that's kind of cool. This one is also a hammer drill, whereas this is just a standard drill. For hammer drills, you need a proper hammer drill if you're going to be doing anything serious. These are good for kind of if you're mounting like a screw into a wall and you want to pre-drill it into like concrete or masonry stuff like bricks and what have you. I forgot to mention all of these, aside from the old brushless 1/2 inch, they're all 2,000 RPMs. This old guy is 1,800 RPMs. This particular one on the hammer drill setting gives you 2250. We won't be using that today with the old MasterCraft because the hammer action on a hammer drill goes this way and not this way, so all that hammer action is going to do is just beat the crap out of this in my socket. But as far as directional control goes, again, DeWalt, I've never liked the way their directional switches go. They always kind of feel mushy. It's just a personal thing. I've never had a problem with them, but it's just something I kind of think that they could probably do a little improvement on. And so it's kind of hit or miss. I think it's like a manufacturing thing, because some of them, like this one's got a nice good chunk on it, whereas to this one kind of, like I said, feels a little bit mushy. So I think what we'll do is, we already know those guys couldn't get the 500 foot-pounds to bust the lugs on my my old truck there. So let's start off with the small one on drill and high speed. See if we could bust the lugs with that, and then we'll try this guy. I'm not 100% sure this is actually even going to be achievable. The old Big Mama here, that I brushed Big Mama here, sounded to me like it was giving it all that it needed to give to do the job, and it didn't get it done. So yeah, let's see if it'll do it, just for shits and giggles. All right, well, I forgot to mention, last time we did this, I retorqued all of these to 500 foot-pounds, so that was 2 months ago. So if anything, they'll be tighter now than they were the first time I did it. We got a 6 amp hour DeWalt XR battery, fully charged. And this is the smaller of the two. Well, it did it. All right, now we got the big boy, DCD998. I have no reason to believe this won't do it if the smaller one will do it, but let's just try it for science reasons. Even faster. There you go. All right, just for reference reasons, we'll try an actual impact that's supposed to do this type of stuff. This is the old DCF899. Not the greatest impact. It's never failed me, so let's give it a try. All right, so that was definitely quicker, but the drills did get it done. So there we go. The old MasterCraft drilled to 1/2 inch impact adapter will in fact bust the lugs loose on my Chevy Silverado 5500, torqued to 500 foot-pounds, which I kind of figured it would with a more modern drill. When it comes down to it, well, Torque Test Channel, when they put this on their torque dyno for impacts, they got it up to, I think, close to 600 foot-pounds. So I mean, that makes sense. And I mean, modern drills, more RPMs, more torque. Sure, it'll get there, and we got there, so that's kind of cool. I think with these old drills, I'm going to pay it forward. Next time I get a trainee, does it get on my nerves too bad, I'll just hand these off to him and let him get a few years out of them. There's probably more than a few years worth of life in both of those drills. Like I said, I'm a mechanic. I usually drill holes in steel, then they sit on the shelf for a little while, so I really don't excuse me, really don't use them that much. But I will link Some Guy's Garage channel, the gentleman who sent me this to try out, in the description. And I will link Torque Test Channel's video to where they test out this particular drill on their dyno. They test for torque and they test for wattage as far as power goes for their drills, which is, as far as I'm concerned, wattage is probably a better representation as far as power goes for pretty much any circular cutting style tool, because you're measuring power over time, whereas the torque, you know, you get to the torque and you're done. So yeah, I'll link that video, and somewhere's in here I'll put up a little thing where you could click on the original video where I was testing this thing with my old busted brushed drills. There's the word. And yeah, so as always, any comments, concerns, just drop them down in the old comment section. And I'd like to thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time. There you go.